welcome back. I hope you're doing well. Today, we are doing the 1,000-mile review of the FloatWheel ADV Pro. By the end of this video, what will happen to you is we're gonna go over the unboxing process, the buying process, the setup process. We'll talk about the VESC software, and we're gonna talk about performance. And is this right for you? Is this the right wheel? Let's get started. Here we go. Let's start with the buying process, which is, I think, one of the big friction points. Yes, this wheel you have to buy with cryptocurrency, some sort of stable coin. As for them to avoid litigation from our favorite company, Future Motion. What that means is that a lot of prospective buyers, they just really don't want to deal with, well, cryptocurrency, and a good idea would be just to buy a bunch of these things, put them together, kind of sell it for a tiny markup, but sell it in USD. I think there would be a market for that, don't you? The buying process was interesting because, you're sending $1,700 to a sort of cryptocurrency address. It's not like you get, I don't know, some sort of like nice website where it's like, you just buy your FloatWheel, congrats, it's gonna be arriving at these. No, it's just like random address and like, okay, here goes my money. And then, I guess eventually Tony, you'll email Tony, you'll be like, did you get my money? And he'll be like, oh yeah, it's fine. That's kind of how it works. It's rough. The buying process is rough. And that leads us to shipping. How did it come? How did we unravel this thing? All the people online are just like,
yeah, it just showed up, no tracking number, at my door in 2 boxes.
There's just like kind of this nebulousness or uncertainty.
Oh my goodness! The little paper ducks! Oh my God.
Or not ducks, those things. Talking about the setup, you need a hair dryer because you need to like heat up the little motor plug thingamajiggy. After a couple hours, you're gonna have a setup wheel, and then it's time to program it. And this is where, again, it's a little bit too nebulous to be like a mainstream product. When you are programming this VESC, there's kind of different recommendations out there as far as like battery cutoff voltages and like how many field weakening amps and like just all sorts of stuff that's kind of important to make sure the wheel doesn't blow up. You need to put in the correct specifications. There's a FloatFab wiki, and that wiki uses one of the recommendations, but oh my God, that was a huge piece of metal. There's too much uncertainty around how you should set up this wheel. By the way, I'm riding Switch right now. I'm trying to learn how to ride backwards. So, usually I'd be way better, just way. First batch issues are kind of remedied at this point, but there's still a couple of other things that kind of irk me, like the height adjustable rails. The wheel is too big. Like you can't lower this thing because the tire's too big. So you can't use those height adjustable rails out of the box. Oh, there's a dead rat. The light control module makes sort of all of these UFO noises, which I don't mind. I think it's kind of cool actually. But there was a fix for it that Tony came out with, again, on like a YouTube community post. And like I applied that fix and someone else noticed that it cut out on them in a low battery state. And guess what? Same thing happened to me. Cut out on me in a low battery state because the fix, for some reason, it would just like as you accelerated, there would be like a little bit of like an oscillation or like a vibration. And if you looked back on the log, it would like spike the amps just crazy. And so I was accelerating from a stop and then it just dropped me and it kind of hurt my left shoulder a bit. But I'm in physical therapy now, so it's all good. again, I think just the programming process and the general like consensus or non-consensus around what the value should be is a little concerning.
Yeah, yeah. So that is what I had to say about the programming. Yeah.
So yeah, the programming. Now that yet again is another hurdle, another friction point, so to speak, of ownership, really. The fact that you have to learn the VESC software and how to calibrate it correctly. You have to read another website's instructions to set this thing up because just a nice community member decided to give everyone the instructions. But like, if we really want to put thumbs up Future Motion's butt, we gotta make sure that anybody and everybody could buy one of these and like out of box just ride it. Let's talk a little bit about performance. I think this is where the wheel shines. You know, this really has a lot of power. It has a lot of torque. It has an immense amount of amps that it can excrete from the battery. And so, you know, for the $1,700, the control board and the batteries are able to deliver a lot of current, a lot of torque. It really does handle like heavier set riders a lot better, and it does have, you know, those high discharge monocells. And so in the event that you do need a little bit of an extra pinch by hitting a bump or something like that, you know, it feels like it has sort of that EUC level of power. Yeah, I mean, the performance, that's why you're buying this thing. You're not buying it for the ease of setup or the ease of use or, you know, the safety. You're buying this thing because of the performance numbers for the dollar. Now, let's talk about the tire just a little bit. This tire's great. I like it. It's just a little bit too wide. It is a little bit too wide. And it reads a little bit too much of the road. So you just end up getting like a lot of roll on the board. Just kind of like rolls left and right as you're riding. And the problem with that is that the foot pads are just too narrow to kind of compensate. I always feel like my feet are kind of hanging off these foot pads. Yeah, I think the foot pads could be wider to handle this wider tire, or you could put like a smaller tire on it. And if you put a smaller tire on it, you could lower the rail height since you can't with the stock tire, which is, you know, this motor is just incredible. It seems to kind of have like endless initial torque. Actually, for how much torque it has, it also gets up and goes with the field weakening enabled. Really good powertrain. What can I say? Really good powertrain. Dollar for dollar, you're getting a very high performance PEV. I don't think anything else quite comes close, especially when it comes to charging. Oh my God. This is the fastest charging thing on planet Earth. Elon Musk doesn't have anything on this shit. You know, these are monocells. Each monocell can handle like something like 8.5 amps charge rate. This comes, or at least the first versions came with a 10 amp charger. And holy crap, it charges fast. Like under an hour, zero to full, under an hour. The uptime, the riding uptime on this thing, top in its class. You sit down for a split second, take a sip of your beer, you're already charged up. That's a smoky Burger King, my goodness. A few more words on performance. I weigh about 185 pounds, and I've got the field weakening turned up to 50 amps, like Tony recommends. The board garage does not. At like 27, 28 miles an hour, I'm like getting 70, 75% PWM. So I just feel like you can just keep asking from this thing, and some people do. Some people get it a lot faster than that. But I want to keep riding this summer and not be in a cast. Absolutely a screamer. This thing is absolutely a sender. Just really happy at send it speeds. So yeah, I mean, it gets a big thumbs up for performance from me. And the thing is, this is the first generation electronics. Tony is finalizing the second generation electronics. They are gonna be going into production soon, possibly even available this summer. That thing's gonna be nuts. Apparently, he's gonna put MOSFETs on it that can handle something like 740 amps. It's gonna have all of the fixes, the parasitic battery drain thing that, like, if you leave it for too long, it'll just drain the battery over like the course of a month or something. And for existing ADV owners, they can upgrade for like $200 or something like that. And man, I mean, when those Gen 2 electronics come out, game over. Game over. It's crazy that the GTS is twice as expensive as this thing. It's crazy. So Gen 2 electronics coming out. I can't wait. I can't wait for the Gen 2 electronics. That is my sort of thoughts over the last 1,000 miles that I've ridden the FloatWheel. I love this thing. I think it's an incredible value. Incredible value. So everyone, thank you all so much for coming along. I really hope you're doing well. I know it's been a long time. It's good to be back. That's it. Let me know what you think of this all in the comments below. Ultimately, I just hope that if you're kind of on the fence, I think if you're on the fence still, I would wait till the Gen 2 electronics. So that is just about it from me. Thank you all so much for coming along on the video, and I'll see you next time. Later.